So when casually scrolling through a bunch of different social medias, that is Twitter and YouTube, I found a video by For the Win that covered a pretty interesting Greninja list that, from my understanding, was originally made by Edwin Beck. So shout out to Edwin Beck for this really interesting list. So I'm going to leave a link to their channel down in the description, and go ahead and give them a follow, or either on Twitter or on YouTube. They've covered this deck in a probably way better way than I will, because they made it. But this was a list that when I first looked at it, I was like, this is ridiculous, because I saw a list similar, or maybe it was their list, from the Limitless page for the Atlanta Regionals, and I thought it was very awkward. Like, when I looked at it, I was like, this is cute, but I kind of hate it. But then I started playing it, and it made a believer out of me. This deck is really fun and really good. The way that it works is that you're going to be focusing around Greninja EX more often than not, with the not only Shinobi Blade attack, but also mostly the Mirage Barrage attack, because there's no mana fee, there's no anything to protect the bench, and the discarding 2 energy doesn't really matter, because you have its partner Blaziken in order to use the Seething Spirits to power it back up. If you have 2 Blaziken, then you can do this automatically every turn. If you have 1 Blaziken, then that's also fine, because you do energy attachment for turn Blaziken. So as long as you have 1, you can still do this, but 2 is obviously more optimal. One of the other things that Blaziken does is that it does function as a backup attacker in matchups where your Greninja kind of can't be used. So that's always super beneficial. Think of something like Gardevoir. You don't want to rely on having a bunch of Greninjas since you get hit for weakness, so then you can kind of pivot into using Blaziken, which is always good. We do have a copy of Munkidori. This is to help with the Dragapult matchup, help our damage out a little bit, and also we're playing Dark Energy, so you may as well play it. We have Zoroark. This is really interesting because it gives us a additional draw engine. And originally, I've always paired Greninja with something like Pidgeot or Frostlask, but now you get Zoroark, and I'm happy that we're seeing Zoroark kind of become its own draw engine now and not be locked just to the ends deck, so that's pretty exciting. And then last but not least, we're going to be playing Trolley, because the main focus of this deck is to be able to go second, go Trolley with TM Evo, and be able to get everything out as soon as possible, pivot into Blaziken or Greninja, whichever one's easier, and then go from there. The only changes that I've made from the original list is that I added in a Counter Gain, just because there was situations during testing where I wish I had it, and I also added in a copy of Devo, since we're doing a bunch of spread damage, and it also helps different matchups like Dragapult if we didn't get the opportunity to, you know, knock them out early. We can go for different setups to get that done. It also gives us some outs to a couple other cards that I think are nice. So yeah, I also added in a Pokemon League headquarters. This is mostly for the Raging Bolt matchup, just to help us out a little bit and kind of disrupt them. I don't think you need it. You can definitely cut it, but I like having it. So yeah, that's just about it for my changes to the list, but I think the list is super interesting, so be sure to check out their channel and go ahead and give them a sub and watch their video where they do the breakdown for the list and stuff like that. It's just better than I can do it. So go ahead and watch them, you know, really get deep dived into this list. It's very good. But, you know, that's about it for me. I'm going to get into the games in a moment, but before I do, I want to give a special shout out to the channel members. Thank you guys so much for that additional level of support. Really does go a long way and means a lot, so thank you so much for that. For everybody else, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And if you're interested in becoming a channel member, you'll get videos a day early and exclusive content. So, you know, if that's something that you're interested in, feel free. If not, no pressure. Thank you guys for any level of support that you show the channel. It always helps out. But that's enough of my rambling. I'll see you guys in game 1 in a second. Peace. Alright, we're into game number 2, and we're going to be going second. We are going to mulligan this hand away. But honestly, that's for the best, because we want to make sure that we're getting into our Arven and our Trolley on our first turn as much as possible. So this hand, even if this was a Torchic and a Froakie, would not really benefit us in any way. We would have the Buddy Poffin, which will help us get stuff, but, like, again, that's not really what we're looking for. We're going to mulligan here a second time. This is closer to what we want, but we do need an energy. So that's definitely if we top deck an energy, or if we top deck into a, what's it called? If we can top deck ourselves into something a little better, like an Earthen Vessel, that would be great. If we don't, then I think the play is to go Buddy Puff and Iono to reshuffle the Dunsparces they're about to grab. And kind of hope for the best. What's nice is that we'll be... sorry about that. We'll be able to one-shot the Tropicos, which will be really good for us. The other thing as well is that they're about to have a lot of bench targets that we're going to be able to KO pretty consistently with the Mirage Barrage. And if they don't have a Bravery Charm... Okay, so yeah. We're going to go this. And we'll go Iono here. There is a world where, like, we could have gone Earthen Vessel, TM Evo, but I think this is just the best thing we could have gone for, so we're just going to place the energy down and pass. Now, the reality is, like, they're probably going to place an energy down and knock us out, but it's fine, because we have the Fezandipiti. We'll bring Greninja in, because if we can Fez into a Rare Candy or an Arven, we'll be in a good position, especially if we can get a Water Energy. We'll be able to one-shot the Tropicos and be in a pretty decent position going forward. Since we do have another Torchic in the backup anyway, and the Fire Energy going to the discard is fine, because we can reset it up with a Blaziken later. We see a third Nest Ball for another Hoot Hoot. In comes the Unified Beatdown for 240. I think we have to bring in Froakie. Kind of start the hope. There's a Pokégear, that's not bad. We can use that a little bit later on. We'll go Fez first, where we do get our Water Energy as well as a Buddy Puff, and we can grab ourselves these. We do have a Boss's Orders if we end up not needing a supporter. We'll trade this away, where we do get a Combusken. We'll go Pokégear. We find Iono. It's not really what we're hoping for, if we're completely honest. I think we have to go Evolution here. We can go Water Energy down, but I think we just have to go here and then go Iono again. And then we'll sack the Froakie in the active. We do get Pokemon League headquarters. That's actually kind of nice, because it does require them to bump some stuff and need another energy. We will have access to Blaziken on the upcoming turn. We have Rare Candy and a Morty's. So if all we have to do is give up a Froakie here, that's like not that bad. Here comes the Dunsparce. Energy Search Pro, that's interesting. Well, they do have the extra energy, so they will be able to knock out our Froakie, but we are in a position that will work out for us. We can even go Arven for a... If they don't make Noctowl here, okay, they do. Depending on what they do, we could go Counter Catcher potentially on the next turn, though we will need to search out our boss. We might be able to find it a little bit easier, though, between our trade and our Fez. Nest Ball for the Dunsparce. Because if we can go Counter Catcher, pull up one of the Tropicos, and we would be able to go for the Mirage Barrage. The Crown Opal doesn't affect us here. because we're not a basic, so we see a fire energy. We'll go ahead and evolve this right away. We'll go flip the scripts, where we do get Ultra Ball and a Trolley, which makes me more willing to go Conviction here. We can go trade, get rid of the fire energy. I could also go, I don't need Trolley or Evo anymore, so I'm fine going for the Greninja. Going Rare Candy Greninja. And then from this point here, I could Iono them down to 4. Which wouldn't be a terrible idea. We're able to get another Torchic set up. We'll grab ourselves one Froakie. Place that as well. Go Seething Spirits. Where we throw the fire energy down. We'll go Shinobi Blade, take the KO. Tie ourselves up in prize cards. And then from here, unfortunately, we don't have access to another Greninja. But that's fine. I think the play from this point is to just grab ourselves Boss. We already have one, but I think the play is just to get ourselves a Boss for consecutive turns. Okay, there's our other Greninja, and we already have Rare Candy available. Because if they don't go Bravery Charm onto this, that's fine. Like, we'll be able to go Boss onto this, go Mirage Barrage, knock this out, end the Dunsparce, get rid of all possible draw options. They do have the Bravery Charm down, but if they don't have any way to draw off this, we're in a good position. The best they can do right now is go, like, Ultra Ball. The energy retrieval doesn't matter. Had they decided to go, like, retreat into Badoo, we'd be fine. I think the Iono was the right play. Having the ability to hit weakness into the Trophagos is very, very good. We could still go Mirage Barrage here, take 2, but I don't think that's as necessary. I just want to get the knockout for ourselves and power up a new Greninja. So we'll go Energy here. Seething Spirits. We'll throw one on just so that way we have it. We can go trade. Get rid of that. And then from here, we just go Shinobi Blade, I think. Take 2 more prizes. There's not a way to take 4. I guess from here, we'll just grab Rescue Board to make it a little bit easier to retreat something if they attempt to boss trap us for a turn. But from the position we're in, we're going to be able to close out the game. So, unfortunately, we didn't hit our Trolley, like, earlier on in the game, but we were able to make it work. And our Iono earlier was really impactful. I disagree with them playing the Energy Search, though. Alright, we're going to be able to close out the game. Go Shinobi Blade. Take the win. We'll add Munkidori to hand because why not? And close it out. So that's going to be game number 2. Nice, smooth, and easy. And I will see you guys in the deck breakdown in a second. Peace. Alright, we're into game number 1. Our opponent's going to be going first. We'll see what we're able to open. We do have Trolley and an Energy, which is pretty good. We'd like to hit our Evo, and obviously Fez being in the active isn't really optimal, but it's also not the worst thing in the world because we can go Trolley, get ourselves set up, attach the Dark Energy to our Fez, and then go from there. So that way we can either retreat it out, or if we Iono ourselves into the evolution, we'll be in a great spot. But even if we don't... Alright, very underwhelming turn from our opponent. We get another energy, so at this point we'll go Trolley, grab one of these, and we'll go for a second Greninja for now. Or a second Froakie for now is fine. We'll place those down. We'll be able to go Dark Energy, equipped, go Iono. See if we can hit our Evo, which we are unfortunately unable to do, but it's also not the biggest deal in the world. We'll be able to pass. If we get ourselves Rare Candy, we can go Rare Candy Greninja. Get that set up. We'll have Earthen Vessel available. If they go wide, we'll have the Mortys able to work with. So, not too bad overall. We see a Nest Ball. For Chansey. Ooh. Nest Ball for another Chansey. Playing the lucky bonus Chansey. That's the right call in my opinion. They have the Rigid Band. Doesn't really matter. We do get to hit it for weakness with the Greninja, which works out pretty well. Earthen Vessels here. For a Psychic and Dark Energy. Chansey, Pokégear, Search finds Arven. Wonder what they'll use the Arven for. They could go TM Evo onto the Munkidori. They're also going to go Trolley Energizer, which does mean we'll be able to go Mortys here, which is pretty good. For double Munkidori Fez. That's pretty interesting. Seeing Fezandipiti is pretty nice because it does mean that we'll be able to go Mirage Barrage onto this later and get multiple KOs. We'll go Mortys here, get rid of the Water Energy because we can... Actually, we'll get rid of the Nest Ball because it's irrelevant for us right now. We were really hoping that we were able to hit a Rare Candy, but in this situation, we'll go Zoroark and then go trade, see if we can still hit one. We'll get rid of the Water Energy. We do get a Rare Candy. We'll use that to grab the Munkidori or the Greninja. Evolve that. Then from here, we'll retreat, bring the Greninja in, attach the energy, and we can Shinobi Blade. The question is it worth going Earthen Vessel on this turn? I think not. We'll be able to go Shinobi Blade down and search ourselves out a Rare Candy. From here, on the next turn, we'll be able to go Rare Candy for Blaziken, attach an energy, and use Blaziken in order to set up our Mirage Barrage. There's a Blissey. Research. What we can do... I want to get rid of this, so yeah, I think I am going to go that play. I'll boss the Fez, and then also and then the other part of the Mirage will either knock out the Chansey on the bench or the other Munkidori. I think will be the play. That'll give me 3 prize cards. In that meantime, I can set up a new Greninja, since it's going to be a 2-hit KO for them to knock out our Greninja EX regardless. Interesting that they didn't go flip the script, or maybe they did and I missed it, but I don't think they did. They did. Okay. So I just missed it. Alright, so we get our Blaziken. We can go Earthen Vessel, get rid of the Buddy Poffin. Grab ourselves Fire and a Dark, because it doesn't really matter. And then from here, what we can do is go trade on the other Blaziken. Get ourselves 2 more. We'll be able to go Ultra Ball away the Torchic and the Dark Energy. Use that to find ourselves the Frogadier. Frogadier down. Go Seething Spirits for a Water Energy. Manually attach the Fire. Go Boss's Orders, pull this up. And then from here we can go Mirage, where we'll hit for weakness, which will KO that. And the Munkidori. And then we can discard these. Grab ourselves 3 prize cards, where we already have Greninja in hand, which is great. Now from here, they're just stuck with a bunch of Blissies. They can knock us out. If they do, again, we don't really care, because then we just bring in Frogadier, evolve into Greninja, and attack. If they leave Greninja alive, like if they go for the counter catcher here, it doesn't really matter, because as long as Greninja survives this turn, it just comes in, goes Shinobi Blade, and one-shots the Blissey EX. They won't be able to trap this, because this is one of the other things, too, that's so good about Blaziken, is it helps get you around stall. Because now what we'll be able to do is we can go Night Stretcher, pick up one of the random energies, go Seething Spirit, throw the energy on, attach, retreat, bring in our Greninja, and attack with the Shinobi Blade, taking the KO. We'll add ourselves the random Zoroark just for the fun of it. It doesn't really matter because, again, the game's over. But, yeah. So, that's one of the things that's really nice. Like, being able to... Now, obviously, hitting Blissey for weakness isn't that relevant in the grand scheme of things. Our opponent's deck wasn't really the best here. But what was nice is, like, being able to hit the Fezandipiti and show off how Mirage Barrage can be super effective. Like, having that... Almost every single deck is going to have Fez, right? So if Fez is on the board and they have anything else that you can target, it's pretty much guaranteeing yourself 3 prize cards whenever you want it, which helps free up your prize trading to a really, really strong degree. Obviously, hitting for weakness against Blissey doesn't really matter that much in that moment, but the fact that we were able to just go, like, Trolley, get ourselves set up, and we didn't even get to accomplish getting as set up as we would have wanted, because of the fact that, you know, we didn't have our TM Evo and things like that, but even still, we can accelerate the game state really well. But yeah, that's going to be game number 1, and we'll jump into game number 2 in a second. I'll see you guys there. Peace. So, going into the breakdown of the new kind of Greninja EX slash Blaziken partnership deck, in terms of fun, it's a 5 out of 5. I love this deck. I love decks that can play fast. I love decks that can play Greninja. So, you know, when we get both of those together, it's great. I love having a Pidgeot-esque attack where you're able to just search out whatever you want. It is really, really cool, and also being able to play and, like, have the versatility of not only Zoroark as a draw engine, but also Blaziken is just a lot of fun. So, in terms of fun, it's a 5 out of 5. In terms of power, I think you got to go 4 out of 5 here. Obviously, hitting those super high damage numbers doesn't really happen all that often, because Shinobi Blade is capped at 170, and then your Mirage Barrage is 120, again, not counting for things like weakness. You can buff that a little bit with Munkidori damage, and same thing for Blaziken, where you're only doing 200 if we're not accounting for weakness, 230 if you get full value out of Munkidori. So your damage output in itself isn't incredible, but the versatility of your damage is very, very powerful. Being able to search whatever you want to set yourself up for future turns, being able to use the Mirage Barrage to snipe out the bench, be really, really disrupting and really, like, almost game-winning if you can do it fast enough against a large amount of decks is very powerful. Going into the consistency factor, this is where things are a little bit harder. I would do a 3 out of 5 for this. If your trolley gets prized, you're in a really rough spot. If you don't open like Poffins or something, if you don't have the combination of things that you need, so like if you don't hit your Arven and you're stuck where like you don't get your trolley that turn, or you don't have, or even if you get trolley TM Evo but you have no energy, then it can be a little bit rough. Being forced to kind of go second can be fine, but if you're in a best 2 out of 3 format, like going first with this deck feels a lot worse. So if you're in a best 2 out of 3 format and your opponent knows what you're playing, if they beat you game 1, all right, cool, you get to go second. Game 2, and even if you win, then they just make you go first game 3, and you know you're playing from a back foot. So the consistency of it is a little bit less than I'd like it to be, but I think with more list tinkering it could improve for sure and go to like a 4. But for right now I'm putting it at a 3, but that could also just be from my own testing right now, and it could be better, but that's where I'm putting it. Matchups, I'm also giving it a 3. You could argue 3.5 for this and consistency, to be honest. I think that hitting Terapagos for weakness is fantastic. That's really good. But outside of that, your matchups are only like alright. You have to win in terms of like your acceleration against Dracopult in order to like really get going. Like you have to be taking out the Dreepies, or you have to be taking out the Dracloaks fast enough for it to really make a difference. You have to be, the Gardevoir, you have to be attacking with your Blazikens, because getting hit for weakness there really, really sucks. Terabox, you are able to survive if they don't have a stadium to lower your health, but if you're not able to, you know, utilize your Munkidori or something like that, then you don't really have a way to break the Pikachu, so that's an issue. There's a lot of different matchups that are like iffy. Like if things go correctly, then you can win, but if they don't, then you lose. And I know you can say that about a lot of things, but I feel like a lot of this deck has a lot of like 55-45 matchups where it's definitely very doable, but the odds are just slightly out of your favor more often than not. But boasting a good Terapagos matchup is really good in this meta right now. And again, if you can accelerate fast enough, you have a great matchup into almost everything. It just depends on that opening, and that's where the consistency kind of comes into play. Overall, I'd give this deck a 3 out of 5. I love it a lot, but do I see it like winning a Nationals or something? No. But with time, I think this could become a lot better. I think this was a really, really interesting list, and I think it's a great starting point for the community to really get behind, because I think with more time investment and a little bit of list tinkering, this could become incredible. I just don't think it's there right now. But yeah, that's kind of it for the breakdown. Be sure to let me know what you guys would rate it and what you guys think of the individual ratings that I gave it. Be sure to let me know what you want to see in the next video and things like that. But for now, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.